Well, howdy y'all, this is Hamid. I'm here in Milwaukee, Oregon, in a beautiful place with my new 2024 Qualisports Volador. That's the new model. So, if you've been watching my stuff for a little while, you know I've been riding a Qualisports Volador, a red one, since April of 2019. So it's been over 5 years now. And at the time I've put over 8,200 miles on it. It's about 8,600 miles now. But around 8,200 miles, Qualisports contacted me just this last springtime asking me how many miles did I put on that Volador? And they said, well, you've put the most miles out of anyone who's ridden the Volador model. And I thought, that's pretty cool. It's really become part of my very daily transportation. And I sure take the bike a lot more than I take the car. So Quinn sent me a message and asked me, what color do you like? Do you like this one or this one? And I said, I like that one. And she's like, we're going to send you one. I'll save you one off the next shipment. And so here it is in this beautiful, beautiful color. I just think it's really, really gorgeous. It's a whole lot cleaner than my 5-year-old red Volador. And they've also done some really great upgrades in 5 years' time. Like, let's start up here at the handlebar. This morning I've been at a group ride with Bike Milwaukee, and I've ridden 7.8 miles so far. Battery's still at full charge, down to 40 volts. I haven't even taken the sticker off. Just gonna leave that on for the moment. But yeah, I went on a ride with Bike Milwaukee. We started off at Spoken Word Books and meandered around town and ended up at Mike's Drive-In. We all had a burger, and I got a milkshake. Bygones, they've done some upgrades to this. One I first noticed was the hand grips. They are locking. My original Volador model had just friction on hand grips, and they would kind of turn a little bit, but these have looks like a little hex screw right there. So that feels really, really good. I've done many upgrades on my red Volador in 5 years, and locking grips was one of them. So that's a modification. It doesn't need to be done. Coming down to the stem, it looks like there is a new mechanism here. So that seems new. And this is new. I do believe there's maybe a magnet here. So that's a new addition. Let's see. I think these are Wellgo pedals. I think maybe before they were kind of a no-name pedal. It's still a plastic pedal, and that's something I had replaced on my bike. Plastic pedals will do okay, but if you're someone who likes to stand up on the pedals a whole lot, some kind of metal or alloy pedal is best. And these fold just like that, quite easily. What other upgrades? I'm not sure. I don't think this is the same saddle as they had before. The saddle back 5 years ago, it was about the first thing I replaced. After about the first 80 or 100 miles, my tuchus was sore, so I had replaced the saddle. But I've ridden a few miles today, and my bum feels fine. So I think they have maybe done an improvement there. One improvement I'm really excited about is down here is a cage, a little protector around the derailleur. It looks like this is a Shimano tourney, so it's just fine. But this is always a side of the bike that you have to protect. You don't want these things to get bent. They're pretty fragile, so if the bike tips over or bumps up against something, this is going to protect those fragile mechanisms a whole lot more than was before. Definitely had to replace a few things, and the derailleur was one of those I've replaced. Of course, I'm on about my third chain as well, because you gotta swap those out every now and then. There's the Qualisports logo. It's got some new stripe in there. Yeah, I think it's just a beautiful bike. These Qualisports bikes, I really feel like they're ready to take on your modifications. Like on mine, I've got a new saddle and new pedals, and of course I've got the rear rack on mine. This will accept a rear rack, which I find to be a amazing accessory to have, because I like to carry a couple panniers on both sides. The bike comes with fenders. These are metal fenders, and which fenders on a bike, I just feel like that is absolutely essential, especially here in the Pacific Northwest. We're having a pretty warm, dry summer, but we've got a lot of months of rainy times. Yeah, I'm not sure what else they have upgraded. In addition to that rear rack that you can get from the Qualisports website, I highly recommend it. You can also get a front rack. I think you've got to reroute your light to maybe mount on that rack, but that's a nice thing to have. I've never had a front rack before. I've only had things in the rear. Yeah, it's a beautiful bicycle. You've got Kenda tires. These are 20-inch tires by 1.95 inches. On my bike, I've upgraded to Schwalbe Marathon Plus tires, which are a little bit thinner, but they've got more puncture resistance. But these tires are just fine. And they've got like a little bit of knobby traction, because sometimes you don't always go on concrete. I'm so tickled by Qualisports. Thank you, Quinn and Alex and all the Qualisports team. This is a tremendous gift. I feel so blessed to have you all as part of my life, because your bicycle has really changed my life. Having an e-bike in my life has been something that keeps me active, keeps me outdoors. I go out. I'm not just a fair weather rider. I go out at all times of year. Maybe not if it's snowing. Times to walk, and that's just fine too. Or take the car. But having an e-bike in my life has really been transformative. And I love seeing more and more e-bikes out there of all different kinds. And maybe a Qualisports bike will fit into your life. I first got kind of noticed the Qualisports bike from Electric Bike Review, the YouTube channel with Court and Sam. They did a review way back then of the Qualisports Volador, and they reviewed a red one, and I had to get the red one because I just thought it was a gorgeous bike. And so thank you, Court and Sam, for your review of that bicycle so many years ago. I think they've done some really nice upgrades from this new model. And of course, this is a folding bike, isn't it? We should see how this thing folds. Here, I'm gonna set down the camera and hope that you can see that okay. All right, so the pedals do fold in. So we're gonna just squeeze those in first. We're gonna lower the seat, which, crafty thing about Qualisports, like, where's the battery? It's an electric bike, right? There's no big battery here. Well, the battery is right here in the seat tube. Really quite innovative. It does mean the seat tube is thicker than a lot of other seat tubes, so many accessories don't quite fit around that. So you might have to find some other ways to mount some blinky lights or something. So there's a little latch here. I just undo that latch, and then this just pushes down, and I'll latch it again. So it comes out on here. You can see the curly curly cord, which connects the battery to the controller and the motor and all the electrics. So we've got the seat down. We're going to now come up to the cockpit, and there is a latch here that controls the pitch of the handlebars. So to take some slack off, we're going to pitch that forward, and then I'm just going to latch it again. And then there is this latch here, which we should get some close-ups of this. I can't really do some of this and hold the camera at the same time, but hopefully you can get an okay view there. So this doesn't just pull forward. This is a new thing on this newer model. This pulls up, and then that goes forward. And also I'm going to lower the stem a little bit. So little latch right there. So then the handlebars fall over like that. You see? Partially folded e-bike. And then the next step is this joint right here. So lift this up, and then I like to put a knee behind here and push forward as I pull this lever. There you go. Nope, I guess I don't need the hat up again. All right. Did I do that correctly? I'm not sure. Well, there's the basics of folding it. I really don't fold my bike too often. I'm wondering why this is here. Did I do this wrong? Did I turn that around? Let's see. Oh, there we go. Well, let's try this again. This is for the blooper reels. I think I'd gotten the wheel turned around. Okay, so the handlebar goes that way. Now it folds. Makes me think I'm gonna have to check. I'm not sure my bike at home works the same way, but that's awesome. Howdy y'all, it's Future Hamid. So I realized after the fact, one of the really major differences between the old model Volador from 2019 and the 2024 model is how these stems work. Vastly different. In the old model, you slid this aside, you move this down, and then the stem fell this away, and then the bike folded around. But that is completely different from the 2024 model with this new latch style and with these magnets. So there we go. And then instead of falling over this way, it goes that way. So hope that makes more sense. And back to past me. That's how this works. And that latches right there. And yeah, it's a magnet right there. And so you stow it. You could actually use this part as a seat. Apologize for my thoughts being all over the place. I don't script these reviews or any time in my videos. It's just kind of all off the cuff. Sometimes my brain's a little scattered. But if you're waiting at a bus stop or at the train stop, you can hang out. I'm just going to make sure that seat tube is lowered. And there's also a way to, I think you can wheel this thing around if you take the seat back up. I think you can use that to wheel it around. Look at it go. All right, so let's open it back up again. So I think there have definitely been, sometimes you gotta watch out for the pedals. I think there's been some improvements in the years that we've done this. Oh, and here's another funny thing. Make sure, before you latch that, make sure the handlebar is free. All right, that just latches back up. Flip that back up to where that feels good. I am obviously filming alone, so if I'm not catching all of this, my apologies. Need to tighten this down. This is really pretty fresh out of the box. It's been sitting in my living room because I've had such a busy summer, and it's been really, really great. But today is my first ride on the 2024 Qualisports Volador, and it feels pretty good. I can't wait to ride this thing some more. I'm still gonna ride my red bike, I think. But this is a lot less quiet. I think my red bike has gotten a little rickety. There's little creaks and such when I ride it, and this one's pretty silent. I feel like they've done some really, really nice upgrades to this bike in the 5 years since I had the first model. But this is a platform that is ready to be modified. I certainly put bottle cage boss here. That's really, really nice to have. And of course I've got the rear rack. Replace the pedals. I've got a different saddle. But this right out of the box, I kept up with a nice group ride, and it felt really good. That seat is not up to where I need it to be for when I'm going to ride next. We'll just lift that up. So, a note about having a battery in the seat post. That's maybe the most vulnerable part of the bike. If you get a e-bike, they're expensive. You're going to want something to lock it up with. I usually use chain locks. A lot of people use U-locks. Some combination of a couple different locks can be really good. But this is a quick release lever, so unscrewing the cable here, the whole seat tube can lift out and someone can yank your battery. The Qualisports does make a replacement for this that does lock it, so you need a tool to or a key to unlock this, and that might be a really good options for folks. To, if you leave this out in front of the grocery store, you want to make sure that your bike is whole and intact when you get back. I actually use a little chain on mine that goes through the saddle and latches around the rear rack. It's just kind of a keep them honest sort of thing, in addition to a chain where I chain up the front tire and the frame to whatever else. And a lot of folks like to have another lock around the rear wheel and the frame, or to whatever bike rack you're at. So I wonder if a electric bike is in your future. I really enjoy the heck out of this one. It's a bit of a minimalist bike. Like, there's no fancy suspension or anything, so you end up feeling everything in the road. And the 20-inch wheels make it really, really nimble. It feels really, really good. I feel really connected with my environment and the road when I ride this bike. But over like big bumps and stuff, gotta be careful or gently swerve around some of those things. This also isn't totally great off-road, like on light gravel and kind of packed earth. It does pretty okay, but it's not like a fat tire bike with like a 4-inch tire or a much wider tire that can handle almost any sort of condition. The battery is like relatively small for a electric bike, but I find it does what I need it to do. I'm usually at pedal assist 1, so except up a few choice hills where I will ramp up the pedal assist a bit more. There's 5 levels of pedal assist. And the other day I went with a buddy from Milwaukee down to Oregon City and ate at the food carts and came back again and went over 18 miles that day, and I still had 3/4 of a charge on the battery. Of course, once it gets down there, it starts going faster, but I feel really comfortable riding easily 20 miles on that bike. Maybe you could eke out a little bit more, especially if you're using those lower pedal assist levels. If you use it at pedal assist 5 a whole lot, it's gonna use up more juice. So I save those for the big hills. This also has a throttle. This is a class 2 e-bike, so it has the pedal assist, and it also has a throttle. I can show you how that works. It also, of course, has motor inhibitors, so as soon as you hit the brake, the power gets cut off. It also has a really nice feature where it has a sine wave inverter. So when you do pour on the power, it's not just like a sudden like jolt of power. The power comes on gradually, so it's always quite predictable, and I like that a lot. Yeah, it goes up to 20 miles an hour at pedal assist, but I don't usually see 20-mile-an-hour speeds in my kind of everyday riding, especially I'm riding around mostly on pedal assist 1. But it gets me to where I'm going safely and with a whole lot of joy. And I think that's one of the reasons I love riding an electric bike, is the joy that it brings into my life. Every day gets to be a little bit of an adventure. So get out there and get on an electric bike. Maybe it'll change your life too. For more information, go to the Qualisports website. I'll have a link to that. And happy riding, my friends. And thank you again, Qualisports. This is freaking awesome. Qualisports Volador.